By the time most people are just figuring out their careers, one man had completely rewired the operating system of the world's oldest living culture, and he did it all before his 32nd birthday. Keep in mind, this was the 8th century. He didn't have a massive team or a transportation network. He walked thousands of miles, on foot, from the tropical coast of Kerala in the deep south, all the way up to the freezing peaks of the Himalayas. Adi Shankara is often pictured as a wandering monk, but that description severely undersells what he actually did. He was a master systems architect, stepping in to rescue a civilization that was rapidly fracturing into pieces. By the 8th century, the primary threat to the subcontinent's survival was its own internal decay. Rival philosophical schools like Buddhism and Jainism had gained immense traction, eroding the ancient Vedic roots that had historically held the society together. Inside the culture, extreme factions were pulling people apart. You had groups like the Mimamsakas, who became rigidly obsessed with complex, empty rituals. On the other end of the spectrum were the Charvakas, pushing a purely cynical, materialistic worldview, where physical pleasure was the only goal. The ultimate symptom of this disease was mainstream Hinduism shattering into hundreds of petty sects. Every single group worshipped their own specific deity, fought bitterly with the others, and claimed absolute supremacy. When a society loses its shared sense of truth, the resulting ideological civil war is far deadlier than any physical invasion. That was the chaos Shankara walked into. To stop this ideological bleeding, Shankara didn't raise a militia. He introduced a single, highly precise intellectual framework, the philosophy of Advaita, or non-dualism. The core logic of Advaita is highly disruptive. It states that the ultimate universal reality, called Brahman, is the only actual truth. The idea that we are all completely separate, individual selves is an illusion. If you focus on the surface, you see distinct waves with different sizes and shapes. But the moment you drop below the surface, you realize every wave is the exact same water. Recognize this single universal consciousness, and the rationale for division disappears. This logic stripped away the philosophical justifications for the rigid social hierarchies and sectarianism of the time. If everyone shares the exact same source code, those petty divisions eventually lose their intellectual weight. Shankara took this philosophy on the road. Instead of wielding a sword, he engaged in fierce, highly structured public debates. He systematically dismantled opposing ideologies. When facing Buddhist scholars, he laid out the logical contradictions inherent in their theories of nihilism and momentary existence. He even challenged and defeated Mandana Mishra, one of the most brilliant scholars of the time. This highly publicized victory proved to the masses that mechanical rituals have strict limits, and that deep self-realization is the true goal. He used these public debates to diagnose and repair the culture's logic. Each victory served to update the subcontinent's operating system through the application of reason. But Shankara understood a crucial law of systems design. Even the most brilliant ideas will evaporate if they don't have physical infrastructure to protect them. He established 4 massive monastic centers, located precisely at the extreme edges of the Indian subcontinent. Positioned in Jyotirmath, Sringeri, Govardhan, and Dwarka, these centers connected together to form a permanent, disciplined network dedicated to protecting and propagating knowledge. In the south, he built the Sringeri Sharada Pitham, grounding the network in intricate enduring stone. And in the west, the towering spires of the Dwarka Pith stood watch over the coastal boundary. By breathing new life into the monastic tradition through these specific physical hubs, he built an institutional defense system for Hindu philosophy that remains fully operational today. The true mark of his genius, though, was his balance. He was a ruthless logician when debating academics, but he knew that raw logic alone doesn't provide emotional comfort to the average person. To fix the masses' daily divisions, he invented the Panchayatna worship system, bringing 5 fiercely independent deities onto a single shared altar. By placing them together, he framed these separate deities as different user interfaces for a single underlying supreme reality. He also composed deeply emotional devotional hymns that completely bypassed academic circles and embedded spiritual concepts directly into the daily routines of common people. Supplying high-level logic for the intellect and profound devotion for the heart, provided the exact formula needed to permanently stop the sectarian wars. Having essentially rebuilt the entire philosophical structure of India, Shankara took his final journey. At just 32 years old, he walked high into the freezing altitudes of the Himalayas. In the year 820 CE, at Kedarnath, he attained Mahasamadhi, leaving his physical body behind at this ancient stone temple. He arrived in a period of ideological infighting and left behind a cohesive network of institutions and a shared philosophical vocabulary that spanned the subcontinent. In an incredibly short window of time, Adi Shankaracharya proved that a civilization survives not by the physical strength of its armies, but by the absolute clarity of its philosophical backbone.